Right, Lost and Found, it's Adam versus Buttonman. This is the first time we've seen Buttonman in action, not through wanton trying, but Adam we've seen before, and I believe he was victorious in his previous game. So, no spoilers. Let's have a look at what goes on. This is Adam Terran in the bottom left. It's Buttonman playing Protoss in the top right. We're on Lost and Found. Buttonman sending out a worker. You know, this bothers me a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't be so picky, but look, that's cost you five minerals he's carrying. You know, don't send a worker with minerals. Send a worker empty-handed. Steal 5 minerals from your opponent while you're there. Go in, have a look around, and nick some of his minerals. Don't take him a gift. I don't like it. Just hello. I like this though. Hey, look at that. Bosh. I don't think this SCV saw it. I don't think he did. Is this going to be some sort of filthy cannon rush? The forge is half done, and that pylon is within vision range, so that's a little bit careless. But nevertheless, Adam doesn't appear to be responding yet. So the forge is just about to finish up. He has enough money for 2 cannons. Will soon be 3. A worker coming down here is going to have a look. What's he going to see? He's going to tickle him. Quick, drop the cannons. Drop the cannons. There's one. You're going to need to send another worker. Run! Flee like the wind. Drop more cannons. All them cannons. And another one. Here. There. Now we're talking. Get ready to cancel this one. Because that is enough workers to kill it. So, you know, keep them busy for as long as... And cancel. Or just lose it. You know, either one. Keep this worker alive, though. Whatever you do, the worker must live. To be honest, if I'm cannon rushing, I send 2 workers just because it's easier to, you know, it's hard to plant anything because this worker is being chased constantly. So if you've got a second worker, it's very hard for your opponent to micro against that. Now that the cannons are up, though, it is time to pull those workers back. So what does Adam need to do? He needs to get a marine out super fast. If you've got a marine here with the complete wall off, then if a probe comes up to give vision, the marine can shoot the probe, and that hopefully prevents any vision being granted. So that's what he needs. And then all he's got to do is kind of take his time and think of a way to bust out of here. This I like as well. Why not? You know, given that you've already got a barracks at home, part of me would prefer to have seen a factory here so that you can just proxy those Hellions into your opponent's mineral line and wreak havoc. But I don't mind the barracks, that's fine too. This is a good response, if you are being cannon rushed. Buy time and proxy your opponent with your scouting worker. So yeah, pretty much this is a textbook response to a cannon rush so far. So I'm liking what I'm saying. It is hard to see how this cannon rush can be successful. This I disagree with strongly. You know, you've already got cannons here preventing your opponent from coming down. Adding 3 more, that just costs you 450 minerals that you could have spent on something useful. You know, if you weren't going to build a cannon closer so that it could potentially hit things at the top of the ramp, I don't really see the advantage of these. You know, if you wait for long enough, your opponent will get a siege tank parked here, and all of these cannons become utterly worthless. Let's check what's happening. So Buttonman sees the barracks that is now building a reactor. And what's the response going to be? Only a single gateway with 2 gateways worth of queue. I don't, you know, I've said it before, I will say it again. Don't do that. Build a second gateway. And given that you know this is here, why isn't there a cannon here? Because that just, you know, at the extreme range of this pylon, a cannon here means that a lot of marines would be required to come up and bust this. As it is, then, you know, if this gets a couple of marines out, only 1 building now. Why is the income so low for Adam? Has he forgotten to build workers or something? Only 9 workers. Yeah, it looks like he did stop for a while anyway. I think the double bunkers here, this is a slight overreaction. Personally, I'd be looking to get a siege tank out as quickly as I can, because a siege tank just fixes this. It makes it all go away. You know, 1 siege tank there, and all of these are in range essentially, and you just devastate. Now, 3 zealots is enough to deal with, you know, a fairly substantial number of marines, but it is reapers being built, and that's not a bad choice. The reapers, you know, reapers can dance around zealots all day long, and they can use their little mine things that they drop, the little grenades to pop zealots about the place. This looks a little bit more determined. Again, I maybe would have preferred to see... Yeah, cancel that one. So this Reaper might be able to get a little bit done. At the very least, we'll get a scout. Over here, I might have preferred to see a barracks with reactor and starport, just so that you can get a drop in here as quickly as you can, really, get a medevac up. Over here, this is stabilized, it's not going anywhere. None of these cannons are about to grow legs and walk up the ramp. So, you know, this looks pretty secure. I wouldn't want to walk up there. A couple of bunkers, handful of marines. That would be unpleasant. This Reaper is still going and has 3 kills. That's almost embarrassing, isn't it? You don't want a Reaper to kill stuff. The way to deal with this is to separate your zealots. Zealots walking after a Reaper in a line is a bad thing. So a standard thing to do would be to grab one zealot, right-click the Reaper so that that zealot is following the Reaper. That just means that the Reaper can't stand still, and then you control the other zealots individually, move them around to block directions that the Reaper can run away into, things like that. And in that way you can zone the Reaper out, rather than having these all just follow it about. So the Reaper, pretty successful in thinning out the worker count. 9 we've got here. I am trying to do this without a keyboard, so bear with me. There is the income tab, and actually it's not that unbalanced anymore, so it's hard to say how this is going to turn out. You know, still building things down here, a shield battery, it'll improve the longevity of these in a stand-up fight, but you know, if I'm the Terran, I don't want a stand-up fight. I'm just going to shoot you from the high ground where you can't shoot back, or use siege tanks that outrange your cannons. So, you know, don't invest any more into this. It's been successful, but for me the key sort of mistake that our Protoss player has made here is not capitalized. What these cannons have done, they've prevented your opponent from expanding. How do you capitalize on that? You expand yourself, and no expand. So what benefit have you got from these cannons? You've prevented an expand, but it has cost you literally 1,500 minerals or something like that, and you haven't expanded yourself. You know, if you've got your opponent penned in, boxed into their own base, the way to abuse that is to expand yourself, double expand, just go ham. Be all over the map, so that when your opponent finally breaks out, you've got such a vast economic macro lead that you just steamroll them. So these cannons finally are under fire, presumably from a siege tank. The shield battery will run out of energy eventually, and these will start being thinned out. You know, arguably hard to clear and pick off the pylon, and then you can just walk down with the marines and kill all this. But continuing with the Reaper harass, let's have a look at how many things have died. So 8 workers have been killed by our Terran player, and that is substantial. This Nexus has full energy, so don't forget the chrono boost function. As you can see, it makes stuff happen 50% faster, so that's a substantial, you know, a third reduction in the time taken to build a worker. So use the chrono boost on the Nexus itself to speed things up. And you know, just because you're fending stuff off, don't forget to continue with your gun. You know, yeah, there's a Reaper and it's being a bit annoying, but don't forget to continue to build stuff. Build a Stalker, because they're so much better than Zealots fending off Reapers. Build another gateway. The cannon isn't a bad shot. Make sure you run. Don't let your probes stand still, because they will die ever so quickly to this, and you are running out of probes. Now this sentry can help out if it's well used. A force field. The building placement here not ideal, but you could potentially trap these Reapers behind a building with a force field if it's well placed. I don't think that this sentry is going to get used, though. It doesn't look like it. I'm not entirely sure. The cannon is going to start to help out, but you're losing workers pretty fast here, and the expo isn't yet finished. So this is beginning to look very problematic for the Protoss player. Yeah, you've got some Zealots and stuff. This is where the force feed, you need the force feed. You know, quick force feed, and these Zealots are trapped between a force field and a bunch, sorry, the Reapers are trapped between a force feed and a bunch of Zealots, and they won't like that. They won't like that at all. They can't really fight a Zealot, not once the Zealot's up close and personal. All they can do is run, and watching these units sort of miserably chase after Reapers is not very pleasant. So second sentry is here as well. It does look like these Reapers are finally going to get vaguely, yeah. No way a sentry got a kill. That's 3 kills. It is not every day you see a sentry actually kill something. In fact, that's 4 more kills than I've ever seen a sentry get. Okay, this sentry isn't going to fare so well, I feel. I think this is beginning to look like GG. This is beginning to look like, well, I give it a shot and it has not panned out. This cannon isn't in a bad place, but bear in mind, if you want to protect your workers, the best place for a cannon is right here, literally smack in the middle of your worker line. It does get in the way if they're pathing slightly, but it's not that big a deal. It doesn't really have a noticeable... He's attacking his own nexus in sheer frustration. He's just like, sod it, I'm going to kill myself. Yeah, it doesn't have that big an impact having a cannon in the middle of your mineral line. It doesn't really change your income rate. So that's the place to put it. And, you know, the cannon outranges the Reapers. So, you know, the Reaper comes in. It can't really harass your workers that badly. Yeah, these are getting chipped away at. I'd still like to see the pylon get taken out. All of those part from the single pylon. Get rid of that, you know, then you can just mosey on down the ramp. So we are seeing the Terran transition into a variety of techs. 7 Marines in production, a tank in production. The starport finally comes. A Protoss player, on the other hand, has 10 minerals and only 2 workers. This is a serious problem. You know, any point in the game where you find you have less workers than you started with, things haven't gone well. When it's 11 minutes in and you find yourself in that scenario, my normal instant response is GG. Let's get on with the next game. But maybe he's hoping that these cannons in some way cause the Terran to panic and send all of his workers down the ramp into certain death. Look at this though, this is disappointing. You know, here we are at the 11-minute mark. Only 1 worker in gas here, and this mineral line still not saturated. Why not, I ask myself, why not? Anywho, not that it matters, because I think when these Marines turn up, Buttonman, I've forgotten, Buttonman will simply say, no, I can't do anything about this. It is time for me to leave. Where is that GG? All of the workers down there are dead. There's a Zealot in production. You know, 1 Zealot is not really... let's see whether or not the Zealot actually gets a single swipe off against these Marines. My guess is no. That's a lot of Marine fire to the chops that he's going to be taking. Yeah, you might want to shoot those. There we go. And yeah, did the Zealot come out? Did it? Did I miss it? Did it appear and die? Who knows? Anyway, this game is over. GG, please, Buttonman. GG. There it is.